giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Texas Family Fitness. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Yes, indeed. It's Feel Good Friday, but more injuries. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's Feel Good Friday, and I don't feel good. I don't. So we got to talk this through, figure out some solutions, how Dallas can deal with another major blow to the defense, so we'll discuss it. It's Fan Friday, though, so the mailbag is open today. I will be heading over to the mailbag segment, about 6 or 7 questions. We'll answer those together. And, of course, the phone lines are open if you want to call in, 355-999-3787, 351-999-3787. Boy. If it's not one thing with the Cowboys, it is another. Yeah. But adversity has struck with the Cowboys all year, and they've responded. They've answered, So let's see if they can do it again. But we'll save that for the first block of the show. We'll get into the roundup here in a few minutes. Let me get into the chat with some shout-outs here. Toot, I see you. Frankie, Tamara, David C., Stevie Mac, the Mod God, Jonathan Scruggs, Jaws, 88. What's up, brother? Nisi, we got here, TC915, Mark Smith, Peter over on Facebook. I think we got Twitter in the building too, so let me just make sure that's cool over there. Fresh Faye, CJ Richards, Alpha Mason, David C, Patricia, Brian Bradford, Boss in the building, BJ Nix, Frankie Franchise, Oscar Martinez, couple Oscars, C Burleson, my lady, Just Trolling, and this one's funny, Just Trolling. Can someone turn off the injury settings, please? I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Turn off those injury settings. Let me mute this here in case y'all want to call in. 351-999-3787. Stephen White, Brandon C., and Adam Mack, my guy Nick's in the building, and many, many more coming through. Remember, y'all, if y'all don't catch it live, you can run this thing back, hashtag Run the Back Squad, or all the audio will be uploaded. Mauricio's audio and my audio is uploaded every day on A to Z Sports Live, A to Z Sports Dallas podcast platforms. You got Spotify, you got Google Cast, Breaker, you got all these things, man. And Apple. We're on Apple too. Jonathan says, faith, fight, finish. Yeah, faith, fight, finish. Mike G. We're old head. I know old head had a surgery, so hopefully everything goes well with old head. But he said, old head turned on the injury settings. I mean, we were having injuries before, but man, listen, things been getting real weird ever since he put that little hex on us, man. Little hex. What's up, B-Bird? But all right, let's get into the roundup, and right off the top of the roundup, we'll talk about it briefly, and then coming out of it, we'll dive into it in more detail. We're also going to talk about a transaction that was made yesterday in NFC, so stick around for that.
Look at my Gucci, it's about that time.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Indeed, the morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness. A solution for your fitness goals, whether it be for weight loss, strengthening up, toning up, sports, or stress relief. Our friends over at TFF have everything you need, from state-of-the-art equipment, group classes, and experienced professional certified trainers. And hey, if you have kids, they do have a kids club over there, so you can still get your gym on, as well as watch your children, your baby kids, whether they be good or bad. You can still watch them. So if you're looking to begin your fitness journey, head over to any of the 9 locations in the DFW area or visit TexasFamilyFitness.com. Well, right off the top, man. Right off the top rope. I got it. We'll talk about it here briefly, but just kind of the general news. Randy Gregory was placed on injured reserve due to a calf strain that he suffered in Wednesday's practice. I don't know what it is about these calves. I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen you guys say it in the chat. The calf strains are the new hamstrings in Dallas. Remember the Miles Austin era where everybody had a hamstring, Miles and Sean Lee, et cetera, Dez. Everybody had a hamstring issue. I guess now it's the calf. I can't explain it. I don't know, man. Dak's calf injury was both. Actually, Dak and Michael Gallup happened in a game. I'm not sure what happened with Michael Gallup, but I saw the Dak play, and I could kind of understand that. But it's more or less these significant injuries are also happening at practice. You just basically lost your 2 best defensive players, or top 3 defensive players, 2 best pass rushers, that's for sure, to practice injuries. And Lance says, next man up. I mean, you're going to eventually run out of men, right? But they do have a lot of youth. They do have some depth at the position in the sense of bodies. Now you just need those bodies to kind of play above. We said this, what did we say 2 weeks ago? We need guys around Cooper Rush to play above what they were capable of playing prior, right? You got to rally around Cooper. We're going to need this group, and we'll talk about the group after this, to play above expectation. It is what it is. Fair or not. We'll need it to happen. But real quick, they're going to be without Randy Gregory for the next 3 games at least. Matt Ryan, Patrick Mahomes, Derek Carr. 3 pretty good quarterbacks. We'll see. We'll talk about it, though. Amari Cooper did an interview yesterday, or just talked to the press yesterday, and talked about that drop ball and kind of how it was basically a microcosm of that game, of that team. This is his quote. Quote, "As soon as I dropped the ball, I knew exactly what happened." Explaining his third quarter drop over the middle, "I took my eyes off of it, and that's a great reminder for me as it is for the team. We can't take our eyes off the prize. We came out flat the way we came out expecting to win. You come out that way, you're bound to lose." Basically confirming what a lot of us had thought leading up to that game, or not leading up to that game, during that game and coming out of that game, is that they just weren't all there. They thought they could show up and they could just beat the Broncos, who I think is a better team than the one you're about to play in Atlanta. So this is going to tell me a lot if you can't come out here against Atlanta and handle business. But Coop also said that the Denver Broncos did not roll out some kind of blueprint. They didn't figure Dallas out. They happened to just catch Dallas on a bad week. He says, this is quote again, "We want to invite the man-to-man coverage every week because it's either going to be a slow death or a fast one." And we talked about that a lot, right? Like a lot of people talked about that. You just don't ever come into a game and your game plan is, I hope Dak Prescott is off. If that is what you want to do, cool. We got the weapons to destroy you. And we talked about it a little bit yesterday with the Okoye, and I'll bring it back up today. Getting Michael Gallup back is going to be huge because now we can deploy that 3 wide receiver set, the 11 personnel, and teams. I don't think teams can match up with Dallas if you want to run man all day against 11 personnel. That's my favorite personnel group. I think it's Moore's favorite personnel group, and they kind of been hampered without Michael Gallup, even though Ced Wilson's been playing well. He's not an X receiver, and I think that does dictate a little bit of what Kellen Moore wanted to do. That's why you saw a lot more 12. And then our NFC rivals. Odell Beckham Jr. lands with the Rams. A lot of jokes yesterday about it. I like it. Y'all know me, man. I absolutely love what the Rams are doing. They say, screw it. We're going for the gusto. We're going for the jugular. We got a team. We think we can win it. Go get me talented players, put them in my system, my organization, my culture, and I'll get the best out of them. Will it work? We'll see. You know, there was some fans that were upset, and I'm like, why? This is great. Because number one, if you're a football fan, you might see some more exciting football from the Rams. Or they might fall flat on their face, kind of like the 73-9 Warriors did when they went and signed everybody, right? So I think this is exciting. And I respect how the Rams go about their business. They're not in the business of we're going to build through the draft in the first, second, third rounds of the draft. Is it because they don't draft well? Who knows? But they say, go get me established guys. I don't think the entire league can do that. I don't think they should do that. And I think the Rams know that. The Rams know. Y'all scary. Y'all don't have it in you to go do this. So if I'm going to be the outlier team, then damn it, I'm going to go so far left with it that we're going to stand out. Now, a lot of people say kicking the can down the road is going to come back to get them. We'll see. So far, it hasn't, in my opinion. They've been a very prominent team, playoff team, good team. They're 6-2 this year, looking like a top 4 squad again. We'll see whenever that can comes. We'll see. But I have no problem with the Rams, man. No problem at all. All right. Let's get back to the Randy Gregory situation. I saw a boss in the chat. He said that it may have to do with the strength conditioning with the calf injuries. And I know that's something that he definitely talked about a lot in the offseason was the strength and conditioning coach. That has to be something to think about. I mean, I have no idea why it's the calf now. We don't see too many of the hamstrings. Now, we know Amari Cooper is dealing with the hamstring. Maybe there's advanced sciences or what have you with the hamstrings now where it's easier to deal with. I don't know. But the calf seems to be the new hammy. And I think we should bring somebody on to talk about that. Like, why is that a thing now? Does it have to do with how they're training? Is it how they're practicing, et cetera, et cetera? Y'all let me know. 351-999-3787. Fresh Fade says, so you know how earlier we talked about turning off injuries? My guy Fresh said, the Rams turned off the salary cap. Yeah. It was a savvy move. Somebody can tell me this, but if I'm not mistaken, didn't the Browns take on some of Odell Beckham's salary that made his acquisition a little bit easier for a team? I think that's what happened. Nisi said, there goes their locker room. Possible. It's possible. But I truly believe if you have a strong culture or a strong locker room, you can take on these kind of personalities. I don't know what the locker room is like in LA, but I don't ever hear anything bad coming out of it, right? And that's with some guys like Jalen Ramsey on the team. You know? So we'll see. So B. Bird said no, he cleared waivers, so he got $4.5 million. Oh, yeah, that's not too much. Yeah, so it's not like he cost $10-15 million. So I can see that fitting under the cap. But all right, squad. Randy Gregory on IR. You see it here. Now, what? Let me make sure I got that up right. I felt like I just put this up a week ago in regards to losing Bradley and I. And now Bradley and I think, enters the picture. A lot of people asked about this. I think someone came in here and asked about this. Do you recall Bradley and I? Do you bring him up? I absolutely think that's what's going to happen. If it doesn't happen today, I'm pretty sure it happens tomorrow. He's going to be your first call up from the practice squad. And right now it's Anai, Basham, Armstrong, Golston, and Azor Kamar. Now, I didn't put Micah Parsons down there because we'll talk about that as well. But right now, this is your current edge depth on a scale of 1 to 10. Scale 1 to 10. How you feel about this current edge depth right now? Long term, we like Bradley and I. What he got cut, he came back. I think it was more of a numbers game. Golston has ability. I think Golston long term as well is something. You're not going to get Dorrance Armstrong next year. He's going to be gone. Basham will be here next year. Like, I'm thinking long term. I'm like, I can deal with it. But right now, I'm a little concerned. Jacob says 3. Jimmy says 6. Steven says 5, 3, 5.5. So yeah, there's a lot of, just realistic concerns. Listen, if you have a guy like Randy Gregory when you lose DeMarcus Lawrence, you feel a little bit better because you still have a horse, right? You still have, in my opinion, an elite talent. You lost 2 of your elite talents now, which means you're now relying on replacement level players at best to be your starters for 3 to 4 games. And I think it's going to be on Dan Quinn to use more smoke and mirrors. We already were the number 1 stunt team, but I think the Cowboys are going to go stupid crazy with the stunts now, because who do you see on this list that you have faith in winning one-on-one against the tackles repeatedly? A Nye, maybe he can. He has the best moves, I think, on this list. Terrell Basham has proven he can get to the quarterback, but on a consistent basis. Not here in Dallas, we haven't seen it just yet. Not Armstrong, Golston, or Kamara. So, got 5 from Bradford. 1 says Tim Garcia. Fresh. You love the young. He said, I actually like the young guys get to play. This experience will help come playoff time. Yeah. That's a good point, a silver lining. But the young guys been playing fresh. You know what I'm saying? Like Dorrance Armstrong been playing. Chauncey Golston been playing. Basham's not young, but Bradley and he has no choice but to play now, right? He hasn't really played as much. So they'll play. I think what we're going to need, and it's not going to be about the edge guys. I think, and if you look at the title of the show, this unit is going to have to step up in Randy Gregory's absence, and I'm talking about the interior defensive line. They're going to have to help out these edge guys. Again, we talk about playing above your replacement expectations. Osa is going to have to do that. Watkins is going to have to continue to do that. He's been playing well. Hamilton is going to have to continue to do that. Bohanna is going to have to do that. They're going to have to push this pocket over these next 3 games. And I know it's a tall task because these guys aren't elite or even B-level talent players. Now, except for Osa. Osa is your B-level guy, but the rest of these guys are kind of Jags. But that just is what it is. You got to help out these edge guys. You got to make it easier to close the pocket. Parker says 5 out of 10. Scott says timely safety blitzes. That's part of the smoke screen. That's where Dan Quinn is going to have to reach down into his bag, right? He already does a ton of the stunts. But the real conversation right now, and we talked about this all week, and let me pull this up real quick because just to let him play as we're talking here. And this was from the Minnesota game, but nonetheless, it's Micah Parsons. The real conversation is, what do you do with the young lion, Micah Parsons? I told y'all all week I've been torn on this situation. I felt like we could move him down to the edge to get pressure on Matt Ryan this week with Randy Gregory. That's what the hope was. But now there's no Randy. I honestly got to talk this through with y'all. What do we do with Micah Parsons? Do you wear this young man out down there on the line of scrimmage and linebacker, or do you stick him at linebacker and just say, hey, young line, we're going to blitz you from in the A gaps, B gaps, send you on stunts and things like that, but I got to keep you here in this middle because they got this mismatch weapon back there, and I don't feel too confident about 55 covering him in the flats or on routes. Even though Micah is still growing as a cover linebacker, it's still a mismatch, but athletically he matches up the best with these guys. So what do y'all want to do with young Micah Parsons this week? Scotty says, feed the lion the Falcon meat. Fresh wants to keep Micah at linebacker, send him in certain situations. Homer on Facebook says, get creative, mix it up, Parsons up the middle, and out on the edge? Sheila says, good question. Yeah, there's not too many times where I'm just kind of stumped. This one I am. Because on one hand, the Falcons' run game is not good. It's not. It's one of the worst in the league. And prior to last week, the Cowboys have kind of showed some life in the run defense department. Now, they've also shown their cracks, but the offense has helped them out. But this game right here gave me so much confidence, and it might have been fool's gold. Maybe it was. Maybe it was. Parker says, yes, he will. You're just talking no proof. Oh, I'm sorry. You must be talking about somebody in the chat. Andy says, put him in the middle, Sky. He's the best run defender now. I agree, Andy. I've been saying that since he was drafted. But where do the Cowboys get their edge? Where do they get their pressure from? He's not only is he your best run defender now, no D-Law, no Randy Gregory, he's now your best pass rusher. It's tricky. That's a tricky situation, and they're going to have to pick and choose their spots right. And I wholeheartedly believe this Cowboys team is better than the Falcons, right? But we talk about matchups make the fight. Styles make the fight. They've got two guys over there, and I know two guys can't beat you, but they can give you trouble. And that's Cordell Patterson and Kyle Pitts. The Cowboys are going to have to counter that. Joey Ikes on Twitter said something very interesting. He said the Cowboys should look to go big dime in this game, which is more safeties on the field to match up with your Pattersons and your Kyle Pitts. I thought it through, and I think I would try it. I think I would try that more often than not because, again, I think that Osa, somebody talked about it here in the chat, Osa can help control that line of scrimmage. I don't believe in Jalen Mayfield. I think he can get pressure up there. Hamilton's been playing pretty hard, pretty well. I think Hamilton can help you out. Watkins has listen, eat the crow on Watkins, man. Watkins, he's not just a Jag right now. He's a integral part of this rotation. I mean, he's a Jag in general, but he's an integral part of the rotation. So I think that D-line can handle their run game. So you can afford to go a little bit light in regards behind you. Now, I'm going to need, listen, Keanu, listen, DeMonte KZ, this is a game, your former team. I'm going to need you to play above your expectation, especially Keanu Neal. My confidence level slowly but surely is dropping with Keanu Neal at linebacker, but there's a ton of games left, so let's see if he can kind of pick it back up. This is one of those games, one of those swing games for your confidence. Your former team, KZ, told a story about how they did him. This could be one of those games for your confidence to come through and make some plays. 3-2-1. Got a caller. 3-2-1. What it do?
Hey, I have to ask you, and this is just a scenario. Do you think they may use Osa as a defensive end downs?
In packages, we've seen that when they did that amoeba defense where they'd have people lined up all over the place, but I don't think they'll use him as a defensive end primarily or even half the time because you still have bodies like Armstrong, Anai, Basham, and Golston are four capable defensive ends. So I don't really, unless one of those guys get hurt or something like that, I don't see him utilizing him out there primarily, and I don't think they should. I never was a fan of him being out there a lot. On occasion, cool, to mix it up, but I didn't like him playing that kind of 5 technique in college, and I don't think he should in this game.
Okay, also, because I've been wondering, I haven't really been hearing much. What's going on with Neville?
A couple weeks ago, Stephen Jones came out and said Neville and D-Law are not close just yet. So this is something I'm shocked at, man. Stevie Mack called it a while ago. He said he doesn't think Neville will be ready until after the bye. But even I don't think he believed it'd go all the way into dang near December. So his arm must have been worse than what we all projected and thought. But currently, right now, he's still working the cords and he's just not ready yet.
Damn, that's disappointing, man.
Yeah.
I was looking to see what Neville was going to do, man. I thought Neville was going to make a jump just like
everyone
Diggs
did
this year. I mean, man, it's disappointing to see that, some of these injuries are starting to happen, but I'd rather them happen now
right
towards the back end when it's essential. But that's all I wanted to go and pretty much ask and everything, man. You go ahead and do your thing, bro.
Thank you, man. Appreciate the call. You guys want to call in?
Yes,
It's
sir.
351-999-3787. As he was talking about Neville, it just kind of reminded me of how many people are actually not, how many defensive linemen are out for the Cowboys. Neville Gallimore, Brent Urban, DeMarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory, Tristan Hill. Neville, projected starter. Brent Urban was your one-tech projected starter, but huge rotational player. D-Law, arguably your best defensive player. Randy Gregory, we've seen him killing it. And Tristan Hill was supposed to, have a lot of fire lit under his butt to be a part of your rotation. That's a lot of bodies. The silver lining, though, none of them are season-ending injuries. So, again, I just need our guys because we know I kind of joked about this on Twitter. We like our guys. We talk about who's an available free agent. We'll get to that in a second here. We like our guys. Stephen Jones likes his guys. I don't know that he's going to go out and get anyone. I don't. I think he should. I thought he should at the deadline when we did the buy or sell segment. The defensive end piece was one of those pieces I was all about buying. I was all about going out and getting a defensive end because I know we were going to get D-Law back and things like that, but you can never have enough edge rushers. And we were one Randy Gregory injury away from being at DEFCON 2, essentially. We ain't at DEFCON 1 just yet, but DEFCON 2 is getting in scary season. So a lot of bodies, but all these bodies are coming back. So we just need the replacement guys to hold tight. Hold it together. We need the team really to hold it together. Be in position in December, right, to not only ice the division, but when you get these guys back, get on a roll because it's all about timing. It really is. A lot of these teams, the Steelers, we've seen it. We've seen it with the Colts. We've seen it with the Giants multiple times. The Ravens. You get hot at the right time. And you don't want the right time to be in September and October. You want it to be in December and January. Jimmy says we need him to stop the run. I think he's talking about D-Law. Yeah. Iceberg says, right, only one season-ending injury so far, knocks on wood. That is the silver lining. And I bet even Coach McCarthy is like, whew, because he was a part of a team that had like 15 people on IR. Back when IR meant, I believe you're out for half of the year or you're out, period. Dr. Phil, the good point here. He says, don't forget DQ knows Atlanta's tendencies and vengeance for KZ and Neal. LVE time to step up even more. So MVP, Micah Valuable Parsons. Kind of like that. MVP, Micah Valuable Parsons. Okay. Lion mentality can hunt. Man, we've been asking for, LVE to step up, even more all year. Last game, he was very active. I'll say that. Very active. Was not a bad game. Some people will lie to you and say he had a bad game. He'd have some good plays followed up with a bad play, but it wasn't a bad game. We're going to need that Wolf Hunter. In fact, one of his best games of his career happened in Atlanta against the Falcons. He had an interception. 2018, though, yeah. We haven't seen 2018 LVE since 2018. So, Andy says, will Tristan play this Sunday, Sky? I have not seen anything indicating that yet, but there is another press conference today. I believe Tristan, I think he's in his last week of that 21-day window. So I hope to see Tristan Hill out there. He played against the Falcons last year. He made some splash plays in regards to his athleticism and getting in the backfield. So I'm hoping we see Tristan. We need him. We need all the bodies at this point. All the talent you can get at this point. We're ridiculously thin up front. DJ said they cut a 9. Yeah, they cut a 9, but they signed him back on the practice squad, DJ. So listen. I'm 99.9% sure he will be called up and signed to the active roster. Tony from Tampa, what's up, good brother?
Man, what's up, man? Good morning, man. Good morning.
Good morning, man.
Yeah, man, we at DEFCON 1, man.
Oh, we at DEFCON 1, Tony.
We at DEFCON 1, man. Straight up. We thin, man. We thin.
We are.
We need some people to come on back, man. I don't know what they doing, man. But we're gonna have to rush Micah this week, man. We're gonna have to get some type of pass rush on him. If he sit back there, he gonna kill us, man. If he sit back there, he gonna tear us apart.
I was leaning towards that in general. It's really hard pressed for me not to look at Micah as a primary pass rusher this week. It really is hard for me not to do it.
Yeah, he gotta come. He gotta come with it, man. He gotta. But he the type of player, man, that can change a game, man. Like he can even get them riled up to the point where they want to change the game. Micah, man, he was a great pick, man. He was a great.
Oh, for sure. Great
pick, man. Great. But yeah, man, we at DEFCON 1, man.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think they should start Micah out at linebacker first to see how it goes, since they got a mismatch guy back there in Cordell Patterson, or you want to throw him right at the LOS and let's boogie, as my guy Vach would say?
Man, I don't know, man. Tell you the truth, this week I would rather see him coming. I would rather see him come, man, this week.
Okay.
Because the pass rush is what we need some pressure on this man, man. He will pick you apart. He ain't no slouch, man. If you give him time, he will eat you alive. You gotta put some type of pressure on this guy, man. Whether it's Anai helping out. Anai is a good pass rusher, man. He's not bad, man. Like
he got tools.
In college. Yeah, at college he was one of the best in the nation, man. Like I think he just need I think you just go ahead and throw him in there for the whole game, man. Let him come.
Okay.
See what he got.
Yeah.
But that's it though, man. But I just want to let you know we at DEFCON 1.
We about to drop them bombs.
This is a must win. This is a must win, man. This is a must win right here.
Oh, you think it's a must win?
Keep doing your thing, man. Okay. Yeah, it's a must win. Because we lose 2 in a row, man. Look what that will do for the confidence of them young boys, man. 2 in a row, man. Like, the Rams got Odell. Like, they stacking the deck. Like, look, this is a must win, man. And the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs is a must win. You know what I mean? Everybody think, okay, we might lose to them, or all right, that's a must win, man.
Hey, man, all the games to me are technically you must win them, but yeah, it's in regards to momentum. You lose a lot of momentum if you lose to the Falcons, in my opinion. I still think the Cowboys can hang on some momentum from that 6-game win streak, because that was such an aberration of a game last week. But you do two of those. Now there's real legit long-term concerns for the rest of the season. But hey, appreciate you, Tony from Tampa.
Yeah, man, always, man. Love your show, man.
Thanks,
always.
Brother.
All right, man.
DEFCON 1. I'm about to get to B-Bird here in a second. I don't know we there yet, but you get another injury. Get another injury, you just about there. I'm hoping this is the game. This is the coming out party for Bradley and Nye. My guy Special K, he said, where'd it go? All right, I just don't want this to be the game the Falcons do something different and run all over us because of our young, inexperienced D-line. This is one of those games where I said earlier this week, if the Falcons receivers, like I forget the dude's name, OZ and Russell Gage, if the Falcons run game, if they get off on you, then there are legitimate concerns. And the whole, everybody don't relax, there's nothing to worry about, that goes out the window, because this team should not be able to do that to you. They're not a good running team. They're just not. We talked about it all week. They just run the ball to set up their pass play action. So yeah, Special, if they come out and they do that, I will be concerned. I will be concerned moving forward, even with the injuries, man, for real. B-Bird, what's up, brother?
How you doing this morning, brother?
I'm good. How are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. So Randy Gregory injury was a tough one yesterday. Yeah. But I'll tell you this. Our biggest injury is still Tyron Smith, because our offense, the onus is going to be on our offense to dictate this game, just as always. So what we have to do is we can't have any snafus on offense, drop balls, bad throws from Dak, pressures, and everything else, because if we can dictate the game, that makes our defense put them in a more preferable position to be successful. Even with Randy Gregory last week, our offense kind of sputtered, and then it kind of made them be able to, they were more of a how do you want it offense than we were. And so what we got to do is offensively, man, we got to come out and do what we do, because we understand that the defense plays off the offense. Yeah. And that's kind of what happened last week. And so, our offense got to go out and do what they've been doing over the past 7 games, even with the Tampa game, and I think we'll be okay. What do you think?
No, that seems to be – I think that was a reminder last week, right, that our offense is really the true engine of this team. I think everybody got caught up after the Vikings game. I mean, at least I did, brother. I ain't going to lie to you. I'm sitting here talking about, does this defense have the potential to be elite? Can we lean on the defense? Because that's essentially what the Cowboys did. They leaned on the defense in that game. But it was a harsh reminder that this offense dictates, in my opinion, how well the defense is going to play, because they can force an opposing team to be one-dimensional. So I'm with you. And in the mailbag segment, there's a question that says, is Tyron Smith our most important player behind Dak Prescott? I'll just tell you right now, he may be the most important player. Obviously Dak is Dak. He's kind of, to me, like, I don't want to include Dak. Your quarterback is a quarterback. But aside from your quarterback, I think we are learning, B-Bird, or we have learned that Tyron Smith is extremely important to your offense. But I still think Steele, given some reps, because he's shown some improvement. He just had a terrible game on Sunday, but I feel like if he can just get a few weeks over there at LT, maybe he'll figure it out. But it's going to be a good game, a good test for them, because they're going to get Dante Fowler back, so that's another good matchup.
So one of the things I do agree with you on is the Rams. I like what they did. But one thing I want to correct you on, just a little stat, the 73-9 Golden State Warriors team, they started making acquisitions after they lost. So that was still the original team when they lost at 73-9.
Oh, but, was it? So they didn't have KD in that season?
No. Oh. No, KD came the next year.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the things I saw this quote, and it just always rings out to me when I think about the Cowboys. It says that good is the enemy of great. And so in saying that means that when you're good, you feel like you don't need to do anything else. But and so it's the enemy of being great. And so the Rams could have stayed there and said that, hey, we got we got Cooper Kupp and we got 2 complementary players, but they're not great. And I think that getting Odell is going for it, and I think you like going for it too. I don't like, hey, this is going to be a year-to-year league, man. Ever since Tom Brady left like that, you're not going to have dynasties anymore. So I don't mind the Rams, if that was my team going forward like that, getting the defensive end from Denver and getting, just because we could definitely use him now. But so I like teams going forward. I wish the Cowboys would do more of that, but I think they're a little bit afraid of making a mistake and having it blow up in their face. But, man, look here, scared money don't make money.
Listen, bro, I'm with you. You know me. You've been listening to me talk for 2 years. I'm all about the aggressiveness in the NFL to win a championship. Somebody said something to me on Twitter. They were like, man, I said all this about the Rams, and his counter was, well, they're doing an awful lot to win one championship. I always come back to this. If the Cowboys won a championship, do you give a damn how it happens?
No.
Do you care if there's a first-round pick next year? Do you care if you only got $10 million in cap? No, because you succeeded in what you set out to do. You made the moves to win the championship. Brother, I don't care. If what happens after that in those immediate days and weeks coming, you won the ring, man. And in regards to the Cowboys, you got a core that's still going to be here, period, for a long time. So I'm with you. I'm an aggressive guy, and that's
one of the things I'll tell you, too, is this cap hell everybody talk about. I've never really seen that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a counter argument. I think that's a counterpoint to everybody's argument. Well, they're going to be in cap hell. I've never seen that cap hell. This cap goes up every year.
Every year.
And I'm gonna say one thing before I leave, man, and then you can talk about this if you want. You know, I was a Bradley Knight fan when he got out, but you know, that was a bonehead play he made this year. But the thing
Vikings
about it is, they cut him, and somebody could have claimed him at a rookie contract, and he cleared waivers, which tells you that sometimes we may overvalue. I put that in the chat. I think we overvalue our players a little bit.
Definitely.
So now we're talking about a guy that was cut, that somebody could have got up under a rookie contract, let go. All other 31 teams came all the way back, and then we put him on the practice squad. Now we're saying, hey, and I can play. Dude, you play this weekend. Dude, really, when other teams, sometimes you got to see it out of other people's eyes and let them look at it. And then because we're jaded, because we're fans and we love these guys.
Sure.
But when other people pass up on them, it's telling you a lot. I'm not saying this kid can't develop, but I'm telling you that it's telling you a lot that these other pro personnel people looked at it and said, for no money, and just said, nah, we'll pass. And I'm going to let you go, brother.
Facts,
good
man.
talking to you this morning, man.
Thanks, good brother. Appreciate you calling as usual. All facts. That is no lies told. And even me, I sometimes overvalue our players. But since covering the team more intently over the last 2-3 years, I've tried to remove myself from that. And that's where sometimes you fans don't like what you got to say. But it's because you got to remove yourself from that sometimes to have a clearer picture. And that's what we try to do here. And yeah, Bradley Knight's one of those guys. I always said Bradley Knight has the tools. Ain't put it together yet. He makes a great point. You know, they cut him. No one claimed him. We need him this week, obviously. The Cowboys absolutely need Bradley and Knight. But do I expect Bradley and Knight to go out there and just crush it? I can't say that just yet. Just like I said, I don't know about Terrence Steele just yet. I don't know about who was the other one? One of the other guys, they got to show it to us. They got to prove it to us. So, Ty Nseki I was talking about. Got to see if Ty can go out there and do it. I got to go see if Bradley and I can do it. Got to see it. But, yeah, Cowboys fans definitely overvalue. We've seen that a lot over the years, a whole lot. You know, who's the tight end, the basketball player, the hooper for Baylor. We thought he was going to come in here and take Witten's spot. Didn't happen. Escobar was another guy, some receivers that were getting a crap ton of praise. And then there's some times where we're actually right and the Cowboys are wrong. Jalen Guyton's one of those. Guyton had potential. Boy, was dropping a lot of things in Dallas, but went over to L.A. and started playing well. So, Rico Gathers, thank you. So, yeah, he's absolutely right. We overvalue our players. I think every fan can admit that because it's fandom. At the end of the day, it's fandom. 385, what it do? 38. Oh, okay. 385 gone. All right, here's what we'll do. We'll hop into Jordan Hill says, I drunk the Rico Kool-Aid. I sipped it. I was intrigued. I'm always intrigued by somebody that's 6'8", can run and all those good things, jump high and things like that. Just a bad timing is everything, right? Bad timing. I don't think any young tight end can really succeed behind Jason Witten. We found out when Jason left, Jason wasn't this buttoned up, everybody loved Jason thing that we all thought here. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to get into the mailbag here. And as always with the mailbag, you guys can join in and answer these questions. I'll get to you, DJ. We'll answer the first mailbag question. I'll hop back into the phone lines. But let's hop into this mailbag section.
It's time! It's time. It is time for Mail Time. The mail's here.
You've got mail.
Mail time. CJH, first one on YouTube. And by the way, if you want to get your question read here live on the show, I usually drop the mailbag segment question on a Thursday. Just find it on Instagram, find it on Facebook, you can find it on YouTube, A to Z Sports Dallas. CJ says he has a two-part question, but we already answered the other question. Did we answer the other question? My bad, CJ. I think it was about free agents, but we'll get into it. What is more concerning to you going into this week's game against Atlanta? The offensive line or the decimated defensive line? That's a great question, CJ. More concerning, Cowboys Nation. More concerning, squad. O-line or D-line? Put in the chat. O-L or D-L? I'm going to say the defensive line, CJH, and here's why. Dak's my quarterback. I've seen Dak Prescott perform with the compromised offensive line. I still feel like last week was an aberration, an anomaly, a something that was out of the ordinary, not usual. I think another game for Steele, he'll be better. Will he be like he was on the right side? Maybe not. I think another game for Lyell, he'll be better. Will he be back to this 2019 self? I don't think so, because we see his conditioning is an issue. But I think they'll be better. And then Dak Prescott, right? Like, I just can't see Dak playing worse. So my biggest concern, or more concerning unit going into that game for me, is the defensive line. And it looks like a lot of the fans are saying defensive line here. Well, wait a minute. We got some O-line. Rudy says O-line. Carson, D-line. Brian, O-line. O-line from Nisi as well. David says both. You still concerned even if Dak, you don't think the O-line can play a little bit better than last week? I think they could play a little bit better. The Lunatic says offense will lead this game, so O-line. Okay, I see what you're saying here. You need the offense to play better, so therefore I'm more worried if the O-line doesn't play well, we're going to lose this game. A lot of D-line. So it looks mixed, actually. Interesting. O-line because the defense feeds off what the offense does. Another, says Jennifer, so interesting. Ball control will help the D-line stay fresh. So from the surface, I say D-line, but y'all make some interesting points about it being the O-line due to needing the offense to kind of carry this team. So I get both sides of the picture. I get both sides of the picture. Special K says, I seen Dak lose more games with the compromised O-line than win games. I can't take that gamble in the play. Whoa. Well, moving forward, that's a different question. Just specifically Sunday, I'm cool with Dak. But the playoffs, do I want to go into the playoffs with no Tyron Smith? No, I don't want to go to the playoffs, Special K. That's a different question. If we wanted to talk about that, I would have to kind of revise my answer a bit. I would be concerned in the playoffs with the O-line because you're going to go up against some monster defenses, but you're not doing that against the Falcons. The Falcons is not that kind of defense at all. DJ, 432, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Steve? How you doing today, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Hey, so in regards to that question, man, my thing is the comparison of the other units on that side of the ball.
Right.
The D-line is more instrumental to the defense and what they're doing, and you don't have as high of elite status on the across the board. Yeah. Like the wide receivers, running backs, Dak, they can all make up for the deficiencies and everything on the O-line. But the D-line out, we got Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, and that's pretty much it to kind of make up for that. Like all the rest of the guys are important, but those are the only guys that I can think of right off the top of my head to kind of make up for that.
Sure. And then speaking of Sunday, when you look at beating the Falcons, it's doing what? Getting to Matt Ryan. So if you can't get to Matt Ryan, then that means your defensive line is your compromised D-line is not getting the job done, and that's going to make it more difficult for you. Where I think we all have more faith in Dak and the surrounding parts kind of getting by for one game with the compromised O-line or two games, right? But defensively, I'm more concerned going in against Sunday because we talked about all week, got to get to Matt Ryan. Who's going to get to him?
Exactly. And you know, you give this is the NFL, so you give any quarterback enough time and you let him get into a rhythm, he will tear you to pieces and look like Tom Brady. And so, like, the more pressure we can do, and I'm not going to say it's DEFCON 1, but I would say DEFCON 0.25 or DEFCON 0.5 or something like that.
DEFCON 1.5.
No, yeah, 2.5, you know, DEFCON a half, something like that.
We close to
man,
one is what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, because now we are definitely one significant injury away from just everything imploding.
Sure.
Now, at this moment, from week to week,
We are one key player, Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, knock on wood. I'm not asking for it to happen, but now we are one player away from, oh no, what do we do now? Now we just have a backup squad like we did last year.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we have already lost individual guys one at a time, so I think it's now about being grouped, right? Like, we're one person away. A lot of teams are one person away, but the good thing is we're getting these guys back. They're not season enders, but yeah, in the immediate future, we're one Micah Parsons situation away from being at DEFCON 1 for sure. On the defense side of the ball, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Scott, I'll let you go, brother.
Yeah, appreciate you, bro. All right, let's get back into the mailbag. Second question comes from Chick-fil-A Saucy over on Instagram. He says, now this is the one special, okay. What's stopping us from reaching the Super Bowl and winning it? Defense or lack of consistency on offense? Well, that is fascinating that you believe there's a lack of consistency on offense. I would say the offense up until the Vikings game showed tremendous consistency. So from reaching it, I would go defense. I figure that should be kind of an obvious one, right? Like this offense is elite when it's intact, and hell, even when it's not, you're not going to get days like that Broncos game consistent. I don't think so. So I'm going to say defense would be what stops the Cowboys from advancing. If you look at the defense now, you can easily just say, well, it'd be talent. You don't have enough of it up front, but that's because everybody's out. But when you get Randy back, Neville, D-Law, Tristan, Brent, I think you bring back some talent up front, and you can match it with what you got in the back. So I think it's the defense, but I think the defense will get better. Yeah, Parker said it's obvious. That's what I feel as well. I feel that as well. I'll mix it up a little bit. Fun little question here. My bad, not that one, y'all. Pablo, or is it Papa Lobo 94, also on Instagram? Which member of the original Great Wall of Dallas do you believe best deserves to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and why? I think it's Nate Newton. And I'm not just saying that because Nate is, a podcaster now for the .com, the mothership, but 6-time Pro Bowler, multiple-time champion. I mean, usually you're in the Hall of Fame with that one, man. That's Big Nate need to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, but you could argue a lot of them, Stepnowski. But I'm going to say Nate Newton. So that's my answer to that. Papa Lobo, Big Nate need to be up in there, man. And he's so humble about it, because if I was Nate Newton, he'd be humble as hell on them shows. You're going to introduce me as 3-time Super Bowl champ, 6-time Pro Bowler, Nate Newton. I'm just that way. Lance says Eric Williams. Yeah, that's another one. Big E. Big E's another one. Let's get back into the lines. 678. What you got for us, 678?
Oh, what's up, man, Scott, man? I ain't called you back in like a year ago now.
Who this?
Yeah, how's everything going, man? This Terrence Connor, called from Atlanta, Georgia.
What's up, man? It's been a long time, brother. You and ATL, how they feeling down there? They real confident? Hello? Connor, you there? Going once, Connor.
Forward now from
You broke up on me, Connor.
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Can you hear me now? Okay, cool. All right. So what I was talking about saying was that moving forward from after the Denver loss and everything. I know we already talked everything all about that. All I'm saying is winning teams, they do that. They're gonna lose to a game that that they should have had won.
Look at the Ravens.
At, the last.
They just lost to the Dolphins last
night. Look at the Ravens. Exactly. We can even talk about the last 3 teams that won Super Bowl, like the Patriots and the Buccaneers. Patriots, they lost to the Dolphins. They lost to the Detroit Lions. They lost to the Jaguars in their Super Bowl 2018 season. They lost to those teams. Chiefs, they lost to the Colts with Jacoby Brissett. And they ain't made it to the playoffs that year either. The Colts, yeah. So they lost. Chiefs had lost to them, and you see how the Bucks, they lost to they got beat twice by the Saints. then beat them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be games like that. So,
Sure.
like I said, I wasn't, like, in the second half, I was like,
Uh-oh.
you know, I feel like I don't care. You know, I just
I'm gonna have to let you go, E or Connor. You breaking up, brother. But I appreciate the call, man.
Okay.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I think the consensus coming out of that game here on our channel, at least, and I hope around Cowboys Nation, was that happens. Right? We talked about that the first 2-3 days of the show. That happens. It's going to happen, and then man. Week 9 woke up feeling a little spicy, and it's carrying over to week 10. The Ravens just lost to the Dolphins, so that's going to happen. I'm not worried. I'm going to know more about this team Sunday than I did on last week against the Broncos. That's just me. 469. What it is, what it do.
Hey, man, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm a first time caller. I try to get in, but I'm a pre-med student, so I call when I can.
Oh man, good luck at school, man. I know how that is. I got some friends that did pre-med.
But I got two things, all right?
Sure.
And the first one is the injuries, okay? Because this is something, and it's turned me off this week. So I hadn't been watching that Cowboy stuff like that, and then I saw the Randy thing on Twitter when he had first drop, bro, and I was like, man, but I don't understand some of the timelines for these injuries. Because a dislocated elbow, like I'm talking about Neville, okay?
I'm shocked too.
Yeah, it don't take 14 weeks. He's 14 this week, right?
I don't know.
It don't take 14.
Put it this way: we're in the middle of November. He injured his elbow in August. And I think the prognosis at that time was 5 to 8 weeks. So clearly there's something they're not telling us. I don't know if it's HIPAA. I don't know. But that wasn't just an dislocated elbow. It wasn't.
And that's what I've been saying. And my best friend's a Giants fan, and my other friend's an Eagles fan. So all I hear is a mess.
Listen, bro. I grew up in Pennsylvania, right next to Philly. So I know.
And then the DL thing. DL came out and said yesterday that he wanted to come back, but then they told him no.
Who?
DL. He had came out and said that he wanted to come back and play.
Who's DL? Hold on. You got to run that back.
DeMarcus Lawrence.
Oh, okay. See, we don't call him DL around here. It's D-Law or DeMarcus Lawrence. So I was like, DL. Yeah, so DeMarcus Lawrence broke his foot, though, so you got to be careful. You got to make sure he's 100% healed with the broken foot, because that easily can be re-aggravated. But I think he's close. I think we'll get him for December.
Yeah, but I mean, if he feels comfortable with playing, though, I'm just saying, because baseball players and I guess football players who actually play for something besides contract, I mean, they play with broken stuff all the time.
Or tank.
And it may have an injury later down the line. You know what I'm saying? But we kind of need him now, especially if we're trying to play for a first seed.
Well, you're still alive for the first seed, but I understand if the first round bye is extremely important. But if you had to sacrifice something to get your guys back healthy and ready to roll in the playoffs, I would sacrifice seed number 1 to do that. I'd rather make sure that D-Law is good to go those last 4 games into the playoffs. If you can say, I can guarantee you at least the 2nd or 3rd seed, and you'll get DeMarcus Lawrence, or you can say, I'm going to bring back DeMarcus Lawrence early. You'll get the number 1 seed because you'll win 3 games with him, but he's going to re-aggravate that foot. I'd take the other one, brother. I'd take the other pill. So, I think Dallas is still in position, even with the injuries, to do what they want to do. But you just got to make sure you get these guys back right. And right now, I'm hard-pressed to question the coaching staff and how they've been handling these injuries, because these guys have been banged up all year, but they've been fighting through it and getting through it, and none of them have been season-ending. So I'm not going to really get on them too much about how they've been handling it.
That's fair. That's fair. I do have this question for you, though, about Randy, right?
Yep.
They just put Randy on IR for a minimum of 3 games because of a minor cap. All right.
Is it minor?
Now,
Is it minor?
Yeah, I mean that's what they said. They said it was minor.
Okay. So what's the question? Yep.
Fish had said. So, but so here's the question though, right? How big do you think a calf injury has to be for them to be out? And let me give this to you in perspective, right? Because I just got out of track and football. All right, if you run track, if you know track runners, they get calf injuries all the time. It's like a common thing for them. But you heat it, you roll it out. You may like even try to roll it over a ball, but you don't stop track practice for a calf strain because it's minor. Unless it's so bad to where your calf just like kind of locks up, and it's like if you try to run on it, you may tear it. You don't stop running for it. You know what I'm saying? Or at least
I hear you. Listen, I'm no doctor. I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express, but I'm no doctor. But I would imagine, brother, as a defensive lineman who has to push off of his, because in track you push off your legs, you run, and that's that. He's pushing off of his calf and then running into a 330-pound lineman and rerouting and removing and firing up that calf muscle multiple times in just one play. Then you got to do that 40 times. I'd imagine you got to take that a little bit more serious, right? You asked about the calf injuries. We just saw Michael Gallup miss what, y'all? I mean, 6-7 weeks from a calf injury. So clearly, I'm no doctor, but clearly the doctors, think those things are a little bit serious.
They played that out. They played that out a little long though. You know this, right? He was ready 2 weeks ago.
Man, you might be right because the Cowboys have been winning. You could be right, but nonetheless, it was definitely at the very least a 5-week injury. Like he needed that time to heal. So,
yeah. This is something else I wanted to say. I wanted to say this last week because I had called on Monday.
In closing, good brother. In closing, all right.
You said what?
In closing, meaning final question, so we can get to the next caller.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, but
that's cool. Go ahead.
So that loss that we had, me personally, I blamed it completely on coaching in front office. And here's why, right? It was just because by taking Dak out because of a quote-unquote calf strain, he had already been out for, 3 weeks or 2? That would have made it 3 since he sat out.
So
I personally think it stunted our momentum. It not only stunted our momentum, that's why he came back rusty. I mean, he wouldn't have came back rusty at the Vikings game if they would have just played. I mean, you just cut out RPOs during the game.
My man, do not.
So all he's doing is backing up, right?
Bro, you don't care about these calf injuries. you looking at these calf injuries like a headache, huh?
Hey, look,
Pop a Tylenol in there, shoot him up and get him out there, brother. Listen, that man is your $160 million franchise quarterback. You cannot play with that. He was hampered against the Vikings. Yes, did he go out there and look good and was fooling everybody? Bro, he knew he wasn't playing on Tuesday or Wednesday. They played the Cowboys fans and the Cowboys media purposefully, and it worked wonderfully. Could he have played if it was a playoff game? I'm sure, but we got to look at the big picture. He was not 100% healthy. Therefore, an extra week would have got him there, and big picture is the Super Bowl. It's not week 9. So I'm okay with them sitting him. Clearly, there was some rust, right? But I think that game was beyond just rust with Dak Prescott. Everybody was full of themselves. Everybody from the coaches to the players thought they could just roll out there and beat the Cowboys, and beat the Broncos against a hungry team, a team fighting for the playoffs and the division, by the way. And it backfired on them. And then when you compound that with Dak's rust, that's what you're going to get. But, hey, man, I appreciate you calling, though, dog.
Yeah, no, thank you. I've been watching you for like 2 years. So.
Thanks, man. Appreciate the support. Keep on supporting, brother.
Yeah, I got you. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. My man said calf injury. Man, you don't pop a Advil, a bear. Pop some bear. Put a tennis ball back there. Get on back out there. Yeah, I'm no doctor, man. He's a pre-med guy. So he knows, more than I do about it. But clearly these calf injuries are something inside that facility. Has to be. And missing all these weeks in regards to Randy. Dak came back quicker, but he's not going to do the things that these guys do. and Michael Gallup. The Lunatic, what you got for me, bro?
Sky, Cowboys Nation, buenos dias.
Buenos
I like
dias,
my man.
brother.
He's from my era. Just rub some dirt on it and play on it. Let's go.
Hey, let me
He's
tell
from
you.
my era. I remember the 80s. I remember the 80s looking into players'
Lunatic.
eyes and thinking, there's something wrong with that guy.
Let me
and
tell
then
you
he was
something.
out there the next play.
Let me tell you a story, Lunatic. When I was a kid, and the same era, not the same era, but similar. I had a blindside block on somebody, but I was so proud of this dang on block. But when I got up, I was seeing about 3 different people, but it was one person. I get to the sideline, coach puts up fingers. I don't know how many fingers he got up. I just guessed and said 2. He said, cool, get back out there. Nowadays, they would never do that. Ever do that. So it is a little bit different nowadays, bro.
Yeah, but I understand where he's coming from, but still, they're gonna side on the they're gonna err on side of caution. Just say, hey, let's do all this test, but let's ease them back in. It's 17 weeks. It's a marathon. It isn't a sprint.
Yeah, it's a marathon. Yeah.
And again, our offense, you are not going to have the third game where Dak has under 50% completions. That's not going to happen every week. Dak said it. McCarthy said it. Cooper said it. Oh, Denver thinks they have a blueprint? Please play us like that. Please. So Dak's going to get on track. Coop said, I couldn't run. He also said 88 Lamb couldn't run because of that ankle. Jarwin was out, so there was a lot of perfect storms that came in there. And, yes, our overconfidence, as Dak said. Now it's time to right the ship.
I ain't like how Coop said that, though, bro. I was hoping he would have withheld that information because now it sounds like you're making excuses. Even though it could be true, and it was true. They were injured. In fact, Lamb went out for a few minutes. But you know, don't tell them that because it sounds like you're making excuses. That's all, Coop. I wish he would.
And that's exactly what he followed it up with that. No excuse. We decided to step on that field.
Right.
So that means we're 100%. There should be no excuse. So, hey, you owned up to it, but it was obvious seeing the film that, yes, they weren't at 100%. And as far as our best player, Micah, on defense left now, well, next to Diggs, we've had a chance to see film of him at defensive end exclusively.
Sure.
And guess what? He played only about half of the defensive snaps because it just takes it out of you at the end.
A whole different ball game.
That's what I don't want. That's why I'd rather play him like Denver, like Minnesota, and start him off ball and get that situational pass rush. Bring him in. Did we forget he got 2.5 sacks against Denver? Yeah, probably because all we remembered is we played terribly. So he's coming off a good game. Hell, he's nominated again for that Player of the Week again thing that he won last week. So he can have an impact. We're just going to need our coaching staff. Everybody's talking about Dan Quinn coming from Atlanta. Do we forget that Joe Witt was there also with him?
Yeah, it's another good point.
He brought him over. So they're going to come up with a plan. They know their tendencies. It's going to be tighter than we'd hope because Randy hurt. Ran and in practice, just like D-Law. My God, I'm starting to think, hey, just do walkthroughs. Just do those virtual. And look, those virtual walkthroughs that McCarthy loves.
Look, the Lunatic. Both of them, if I'm not mistaken, injured themselves in one-on-one drills. Not like it was team, not like just one-on-one on the side, just kind of trying to get worked up for the practice, and they got injured. So yeah, man, they might have to chill out a little bit on those.
Yeah, I know on those practice. And that other question that somebody asked, do you want, all your chips in for 1 year? I'm sorry, you younger fans who haven't seen it in 25 years, us older fans who have seen it, we built it to withstand the late 70s, the early 80s when I started seeing it. It was every year, are we going to go to the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl? Because of what? Our draft picks and everything like that. So I can understand where the younger generation saying, I don't care, I want one right now.
Let me respond to that as a younger generation, fellow millennial, okay? You old heads. This is a different era. There are cap, right? There's a cap now, right? And we talk about cap myth. Sure, it's a myth to an extent. But the reason why you could do what you did in the 70s and 80s and 90s, because there really wasn't free agency. And the thing about the cap and free agency is not just the team, it's the player. I talked about this weeks ago. Cowboys win a Super Bowl. DeMonte KZ's price goes up. J-Ron Curse's price goes up. Anthony Brown, whomever, right? Whoever's a free agent, all their prices go up. And what are these players nowadays trying to play for? And I ain't mad at them at all. Money. So if I have an opportunity to get the bag and my market is sky high and I'm 29, 30 years old, what you think I'm going to do? I'm going to sit here and say, you know what, man, I'll take $2 million for you from Dallas for the next 3 years. Or I'm going to go take this $15 million from Detroit. They're going to take the $15 million. So it's a different generation, bro. I respect that we bring up they built the dynasty back then, but there's only been one dynasty in the free agency era, and that's been the Patriots, fam. And it's because it's a different generation in regards to money. It just is, bro. So, yeah, I'm all about get me a damn ring and then come on back and let's figure it out again.
No, I get you, and it won't happen again where Tampa Bay, all 22 starters came back because they saw it. Hey, we can repeat it again. We've got and we'll go ahead and keep the same money. We'll even add some stuff. It won't probably happen again. I understand what you mean about somewhere in the middle of the Rams way and our way, Stephen Jones through the draft.
Yeah, compromise. Yeah, that's the sweet spot.
And I think Stephen sometimes he's too goddamn scared of cap hell to take those chances. That's what frustrates me about him, but I can see it. So it's going to be closer this week than we want, but I still say we're at home. Dak and the team are pissed off. They took a butt whipping. Now they refocus. At home, come back. It's going to be somewhere like 30-20, Cowboys winning. But let's get ready. Refocus and let's step up, as they say. Yeah. Now we've been saying about our depth, about this. Now they need to step up or shut up.
Let's see it. You're absolutely right, Lunatic. Hey, appreciate you as always, good brother.
Thank you. Bendiciones, Cowboys Nation. And as always, puro pinche Cowboys.
There we go. There we go. I didn't get a puro pinche Cowboy last time. I got one this time, my man. Let's get back into the mailbag here. And it's fitting. Very fitting that he talked about free agency. Well, I talked about free agency, but here we go. Bob Burtz over on Facebook says, why does Jerry Jones, I don't know why he said Jerry, but refuse to spend money in free agency? Let me cross out the Jerry and put Steven. The Rams and the Cardinals are making big moves to win a Super Bowl this year. I love our young team, but we are both DE and both our DE and O-line got ran over last week. Von Miller was available. He didn't take the necessary steps to secure him. We are so close I can smell it. Well, Bob Bretz, forget Von Miller. I would never have made that move. That was giving up a second and third round pick for a 32-year-old with one. But the premise of what you're saying is something I think is shared by a lot of Cowboys Nation and for sure shared by me. I'm all about the aggressiveness, right? And it doesn't always have to be spending $200 million. It can be about a savvy trade move or a savvy pickup from one of these players. And you're right, the Rams, the Cardinals, the Bucs, they're all making those moves to win the Super Bowl. And I'm going to keep it a bean. If it ain't the Cowboys this year, I think it's going to be one of them in regards to getting to the Super Bowl out of the NFC, right? And when we go back and see, this is going to be a test to Steven. Because if the Dallas Cowboys can win the Super Bowl, I think we would have bucked the tradition, or not a tradition, but what is nowadays in 2021. I don't think the way Steven is doing it is the way. It's clearly proven not to be the way. Clearly proven, but they're being stubborn in it. Because Dallas just does what? One of the callers said it. I think it was B. Burt. They're good enough. But good enough is what he says, is the enemy of great. Right? Steven is like, we're good enough if we can just get our third round pick to step up. If we can just get our Jag defensive tackle we signed. If we could just get the bounce of the ball. Yeah, sure. We're good enough. Not great. Not yet. Not yet. Got to win the Super Bowl, right? You got to do some historical things in regards to the playoffs and things like that. So, yeah, that's not the way Steven does it. Don't count Jerry. He said, why doesn't Jerry? Jerry would do it. We've seen Jerry try to do it. It was to the extreme. Steven stepped in and he kind of brought it back to the middle, but now Steven's going so far left with it. All we can do as Cowboys Nation is hope that this way works. And I digress. Let's get 610 up in here. 610, what it is, what it do?
Hey, what's going on, Sky? How you doing?
I'm good, brother.
I am. Let me take you here so you can hear me better. There we go. I'm kind of glad they got whooped up on. They were getting a little big for their britches. They needed a good smack in the mouth,
Sure.
a little reality check, and I think it's going to do them a lot of good in the long run. I also think Stephen Jones, what he's doing as far as pinching the pennies is a good thing, because obviously the reason why we can't just go and get some big heavy hitter is because we have contract issues, and not necessarily, giving Dak his money, but, maybe a couple other people. So it's a good mindset to have, and I'm glad he's there to do it. I hope he just doesn't do it a little too much, like as you were saying.
Yeah, there's a fine middle ground you have to have. I don't know that Steven has found it yet. That's why, if you know me, bro, I don't know how long you've been watching the show, I have a love-hate relationship with him, because the premise of what he's saying, I actually agree with. Like building through the draft, things like that, I agree with it. And I think the Cowboys are starting to hit on two of the three big pillars to me. I think you have to have really good coaching. You have to be able to draft really well, but you also have to know how to make really good free agency moves. And I think that's where Dallas lacks right now. Oh, and trades. I say free agency and trades, both the same thing to me. But go ahead.
I think the fans are also frustrated. I know I am. Like it feels like we've been hearing like, oh, we got all these injuries, but we're getting them back. We're going to get them back. And I feel like we've been saying we're going to get somebody back for a month, and we haven't.
That's true.
I don't feel like we really got anyone back.
You're right, bro. Look, no Gallup, although he'll play this week. We haven't heard anything about Tristan Hill, Neville Gallimore, D-Law. Yeah, you're right. We've been saying we're going to get them back, but when? This week, I'm going to go out on a limb, expect to see Tristan Hill, and obviously Michael Gallup.
Yeah, it's I know I'm frustrated, so I can only imagine. I don't. Anyway, thank you for having me, and I don't ever give you my name. Vance is what I've been calling me on the street. So
you said Stan?
Vance out.
Stan?
Shavance.
Say, oh, I got to say
Shavance, like quiet Eagles fans, and then Vance.
Oh, Shavance. Okay. All right, Shavance, I got to find you. So 610. It's Shavance. I got you, bro. Put you in there.
All right, thank you.
My man, peace. All right, I'm going to go ahead and lock these things, and then we are going to finish this mailbag and then finish the phone lines. Next question comes from Anthony Hatcher on YouTube. It's just me, but why would the coaches take Terrence Steele from right tackle, where he's a bad man, to put him at left, or to left tackle, put LC back at right tackle? Okay, I get what you're saying. Why put LC at right and Terrence Steele at left? And draft Big Q to not have him clogging the middle. Quentin Bohanna plays, brother. He plays. Why we get gashed? Will these coaches cost us when it matters? A lot of questions here. Is Tyron Smith number 2 most important piece behind Dak to this Super Bowl run? Yes. I'll start from the bottom. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Tyron Smith is most definitely the second most important piece behind Dak Prescott to a Super Bowl run, until proven otherwise, right? Maybe Terrence Steele, after a few, weeks at left tackle, shows he can play. Maybe they switch. Maybe they put LC back at, or not back, but at left tackle. But the question that he said was, why did they do it? Well, think about it for a second here. Terrence Steele gave you confidence that, okay, I at least know he can be a competent right tackle, at the very least, because he was a good right tackle to me, and he started to play himself into being a starting right tackle. And he was technically your swing. Technically. So they decided to see, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens here. He played some left tackle in preseason, played some left tackle in camp. So they rolled with what I thought they figured was the best bet. Didn't work out week 1. We'll see what happens week 2. It didn't work out. If it doesn't work out this week and Tyron Smith is gone for the next couple weeks, I do think about making a switch. I do think about maybe putting LC over at left tackle if LC improves. Because remember, I said this was an opportunity for both LC and Terrence Steele. So far, it's not good for either in that first week. Let's see if they can gain some momentum, though. See if we can gain some momentum. All right, let's get to 385. Wait, I did this shit. Did I hold 1 second? 385. Hold there real quick. I think I might have put the wrong name under 831. My bad. 831 is not Shavance. All right, 385-831, then North. You're going to send us out, North. What's up, 385?
What's up, Sky? Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
I just want to say I like your show, but this is Junior from Utah. I called last week.
What's up, Junior from Utah?
I just have a couple of things to run by you.
Sure.
It sucks that Randy Gregory is on IR, but Bradley and I is no pushover, man. I'm a big-time Utah fan, big-time Utah Utes fan, so I watched him for years. You know, he was a 3-year starter for us. He got 30 tackles, 41 tackles for loss.
He was very productive out there.
Yeah, he can ball. I think he just needs some more playing time. He just needs to get in there, get his feet wet, don't think too much. And he ain't going to be a Randy Gregory, but I think he can give her some production.
Junior, he going to get it this week.
I hope so. But my question to you is on the O-line. So you just was talking about Lyle Collins and moving him to left tackle. What do you think about moving him to left guard and moving Connor Williams to right tackle because he's not as big? He's getting pushed over by the big boys in the middle.
Well,
do you think something like that
long term, I don't mind looking at Collins at guard at all. Long term. Right now, I don't think that's feasible because you can't just, and this is no disrespect, but you literally just can't play musical chairs with these linemen, fam, without actual reps and practice in the offseason and things like that. We're at week 10. You're going to ask Connor Williams to play a position he hasn't played since 2000 and when did he draft him? 16. So 17 would be when we drafted him, I think. So 2016, hasn't practiced there since his rookie year. It's a different ball game to go from in a phone booth to space in a matter of literally 3 practices, right? So I think it'd be a disaster to make him a swing tackle right away. I think it would be. If you want to move him to left guard and put Connor as your swing guard, that's a different story. But I wouldn't. Okay. I think you would have had to make the Connor Williams tackle move years ago, so he can get those repetitions in the offseason. I think because of what's happening with the line movement, what's happening with the improvement of Terrence Steele is now has Cowboys. They just say, what can we do with so and so? Just be careful. It's not a matter of, we plug them in. We just saw that with Terrence Steele, did we not? We just saw it's not as simple as, cool, move you to the other side, everything is good to go. 3 practices, everything is good to go.
It's footwork and everything.
Right.
Yeah, footwork and everything.
Muscle memory, all that stuff. So repetition. So I just think if that's the move you want to make with Connor Williams, it would have had to happen years ago. But I don't think Connor's going to be here next year. So that's why I'm not opposed to the Lyle to guard thing long term. Right now, I think Connor Williams has played the best of his career, believe it or not, but the penalties have been an issue. No penalties last week. That's a good thing.
I just asked that because he's a smaller guy, and you can see the beefy guys are in the middle. So
no, you're right. There's times where Connor gets pushed back. I think that's been his whole entire career, honestly.
Okay, one more thing for you, and then I'll get out of your hair. So with Michael Gallup being back, do you think that really changes what we do with in sense of with Wilson and Gallup? Do you think we're going to try to take it over the top more in this game, or do you think we just try to just dink and dunk with Zeke not being 100%?
No. This ain't no dink and dunk offense more. But great question. If you haven't watched the Okoye, thanks, bro. Yep, I'll answer it off air. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you.
I love you, man. You take care, Scott. Yep,
brother.
Peace out.
Great question. We talked about this yesterday on the show where we had Okoye on, and we broke down the Falcons game. I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to go back to being a primarily 11 personnel team, meaning 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. And what that allows you to do is have Michael Gallup as your X wide receiver on the line of scrimmage to get physical with these other cornerbacks or what have you. And Amari to get some room as a route runner, and you put Coop in the slot. I'm sorry, Coop or Lamb, really, in the slot, and they become a massive nightmare mismatch. I don't think there's many slot corners that can run with them. I think we go back to doing that. Dallas did not do a lot of 11 personnel in Michael Gallup's absence. In fact, the Cowboys are I think they've run 12 personnel, 2 tight end sets, the second or third most in the NFL. That is not that's not Kellen Moore's offense. In fact, that shows the ability of Kellen Moore to adapt. And when you really look at the 12 personnel, it's only there in a way to protect the fact that they cannot be as expansive personnel-wise. Because my guy, Blake Jarwin, has not been a factor at all in regards to 12. So it's more so just to get the body out there because they can't do everything out of the 11 that they used to be able to do. And that's no knock on Seti. Seti can go in and out. He can do those things, but he's not an X. They don't want Cooper to be the X. Lamb can be the X, and I think he definitely will be an X or playing Cooper's position. But he's a deadly in the slot, and he's had obviously good games out there, but he's deadly in the slot. So, yeah, getting Michael Gallup back, you'll see more of the 11. I think it's going to open up the run game as well because now you got to decide, do I want to bring down the safety and play heavy in the box, which gives me man, or do I want to play back and allow Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard to run? 831, what it do?
Shai Walker, how we doing?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Blessings. Yeah, very intriguing. I completely agree that, on the conversation we're having this morning, obviously after that shocking and, really an unorthodox performance by the Cowboys, I would have done, obviously our coaches have been doing a great job so far in terms of whatever movements, whatever O-line.
Honestly, last week was the first time that a coach decision kind of didn't work, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I do agree with with your point in terms of I would have just left Steele at right tackle. Obviously, he's doing a decent job there, and just allowed him to be there, and then Leal being just the more vet and more experienced guy, just would have shifted him to left tackle and would have just gone that way
and just deal with it type of thing. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
Some fan last week asked about that. They said I'd rather have him next to Zach Martin anyway. So I would have been cool with that too, but I'm not going to lie to you. I was very interested. I'm kind of glad they did it, even though. Here's why I'm glad they did it. I know you're probably like, what do you mean you're glad? Still was awful, things like that, whatever. I don't think it would have I'm going to be real with you. I think even if you kept Steele at right and put Lyle at left, the game was so abnormal, so out of hand, that game felt like they were going to lose anyway. They weren't all there. This had more to do with them mentally not being prepared and things like that than anything. So get the kinks out. If you're going to get the kinks out in the game, get the kinks out in the game like that. And now let's see what happens this week, because I truly think that the production and the progression that I've seen from Terrence Steele gives me confidence that there might be something there long term. We just got to see it get turned on the other side. But if not, after 2-3 games, brother, then you dead that experiment. But I digress. Go ahead.
You know what? Absolute. I do like, just listening to Steele and his interviews. I like, he's a young kid that just seems to have the right mindset and is a go-getter and a worker. So you might as well see what you have for now and into the future. So I can see that. Absolute. The other thing is I was listening to what you were saying earlier in terms of obviously what's happening with a lot of these teams, obviously like the Rams and so forth, that, all in, they don't really, put too much priority in terms of their draft picks. They want to win now, all that.
The Rams don't.
Stephen Jones really, in a sense, kind of, the last so many years taking over as kind of the guy,
right.
With
he's essentially the general manager that signs the checks and makes the personnel decisions, yeah.
Right. I can see their philosophy, has changed in terms of being, kind of more savvy with their money, making sure that they're not necessarily overpaying, that they have money to do this and do that. I get all that. We do draft well for the most part, and we've been fortunate in that area, and we do build our team through the draft. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But at the same time, there has to be something where you got that Cavalier Jerry Jones back in the days where if you have an opportunity to bring in a player or two,
Yeah.
that's going to be a game changer, as we've talked in the past about elevating that defense or that O-line.
Yeah.
You got to do that.
I think what happened is that in 2018 they did that, right? They were forced to, by the way. And that's the problem with Steven. Steven, he really rests on that trade with Cooper, like, aha, look what I did.
Yeah.
I did make that aggressive move. Bro, you were backed into a corner to make that move. Your first move was dead wrong. You cut Des Bryant. You didn't draft a guy early or sign a guy in free agency or anything like that. You went with wide receiver by committee, and it blew up in your face. You were forced to make that move. So while I'll give you credit for doing it, I'm not going to say you had the cojones to do it. You had to. So can I really be like, well, we've seen Steven do it, he'll do it again? No, because that was forced, number one. And number two, I haven't seen you do it before that or after it. So I think we just got to live in this box, bro, where Steven is not going to make these aggressive moves, and he's going to rely on the draft to win the whole thing. And it hasn't happened yet. He's trying to buck something that doesn't, that has been working. And I'm hoping it works this year, bro. I really do. But this philosophy hasn't worked. I've seen somebody in the chat say, the management knows what they're doing more than any of us. Sure, that's what they're paid to do. But 26 years, whatever the hell they're doing is not working.
You know what? I completely agree. Lastly, let me ask you this question so we can allow other callers as well. Now, in terms of, obviously, it hurts to lose Gregory now with another of these calves. I don't know what's going on with these calves and our players.
I don't either.
It's very unfortunate. But now here we go now. Obviously, Gregory, was having a great season and so on. Obviously, we got to get Tank back, Gallimore, et cetera. Sounds like Gallup is going to be ready to go. Now, do you foresee, obviously with this loss, pending, on the remainder of the second half of the season and trying to get everybody back, do we go and try to get a veteran that might be available out there that can come in and provide us that extra depth that obviously we're being slightly depleted? Or do we continue that same philosophy as, okay, next man up, okay, whoever's next, but yet that's...
If I had to guess, I think they're going to roll with the next man up there. I mean, we've heard Steven say it all year, so I think that would be the case. But if we want to kind of just explore the options, Olivier Vernon is the obviously number one name that pops up because he's been a free agent all year. He was productive as hell last year, but he tore his Achilles, so he just may not be ready just yet. But Olivier Vernon is available. Bruce Irvin, Trent Murphy are guys. Alden Smith is still out there. I know.
Yeah.
So and then there's some other guys like Tanner Mew. Is Tanner Mew still available? Demontre Moore. I mean, there's guys out there. Vic Beasley. There's guys out there. If these guys are even available, sometimes this site doesn't update. But they would just be bodies at this point, right?
Yeah, it'd be bodies too. And I mean, and I can see as these younger guys getting opportunities at this point as well. But
I think that's what they want to do.
You're right. And well, hey, listen, I'm hoping that I'm with you. I'm a big fan of Dak. He's a button up kind of guy, and
Sure.
and obviously we had a game that just was. I mean, let's just let that be. It is what it is. We got punched in the mouth. We got humble pie. Okay, now let's see what we do from now going forward.
Sure.
Let's test our character. Let's test what this team is all about. And not only the players, I think we're talking about the coaches from top to bottom. That was one of the very few times that I've seen all of our coaches and our coordinators really not have answers or not have adjustments or anything like that. I get it. The players have to play the game. The coaches have to coach. But at the same time, that was just a disaster by everybody. And let's just hope we're gonna bounce back and we can get back in this playoff race.
All right, man. Hey, appreciate the call, good brother.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thank you too. I think the time to address the position would have been, and this is bad timing. This is really, really bad timing with the injury, because if Randy gets hurt before the deadline, I think the urgency to actually find a not just jag at defense end, but a guy that's capable of providing some real production would have went up. That urgency would have went up. But because Randy wasn't injured like this, or put on IR, I think they were like, yeah, because somebody said we attempted to get Von Miller. I don't even know that I really wanted. Von Miller could have came at a 5th-round pick, sure. Absolutely. But you got to understand, 2 and a 3 for a 32-year-old for 8 games, I don't think I want to do that. When I like to make trades like that, I like to go get a guy that I can possibly re-sign, or if it's going to be a veteran, it's going to be like a D-Ware type of dude who's still got a ton left in the tank, and you can still keep him for a few years. But nonetheless, the time to do it, if there was going to be a trade, there's no trade anymore, no trade deadline. The timing sucks right now. So now you're kind of like, all right, do you go into free agency? Do you rely on the young guys? I truly believe they're going to rely on the young guys. And I don't know if there's anyone in free agency that's going to really help you all crazy anyway. North of the Star, send us out with the call, brother.
How's it going? You know that Gregory just crushed me yesterday.
You said what now? I didn't catch that second part.
You know that Gregory news just crushed me yesterday when it came on the screen.
Yeah, it got me too, man.
Yeah, but I think, like you're saying, you're just going to roll with the young guy. That's all we really can do, and hope you're going to get D-Law and Gregory back when it's time to make that run. We were devastated when it happened before the Chargers. Obviously, Chargers were dealing with that right tackle that wasn't too good, but you're going to play some lines that are undermatched too, so hopefully these guys can just hold up.
Sure. Yeah, this line here, pass rushing wise, you got Jake Matthews is pretty decent, but the other tackles, you can get them.
And maybe scheme it up. Obviously, we got to win early downs because when we win early, we can be creative with blitzes and the stunts. You can't really stunt when you're trying to stop the run. But then maybe you're going to see some more Jordan Lewis blitzing off the slot. He's been okay at it. And Donovan Wilson got home on Cousins last year. So I think those are skill sets you can use from those guys. Even Curse has put the well around the line of scrimmage.
There you go. Curse is the guy that they're using on those DB blitzes.
Yeah, so I'd like to see that. But anyway, I think we match up well with the Falcons. So we should get back on track. Obviously, I don't know if number 1 seed, these injuries might be too much to get number 1 seed. I'm going to believe it until it's mathematically
we're still we're 1 game behind the number 1 seed, so you got to keep playing.
Yeah, and like how I started the season, it's on Dak. Unfortunately, with this defense, you have to fight, 17, 20 points, and the offense, you're a strength. So unfortunately, the pressure's on. You got to do it.
Yep. I mean, and it's always been, but the defense was giving you confidence. And then last week happened and it reminded you, all right, look, I know the defense is playing better, but at the end of the day, this is still an offensive-driven team.
Yeah. And CD Lamb back to the slide, I like that how Okoye said yesterday. I think that is when the offense really right now is at its peak, when you have that personnel out there and Dak can really just see his matchups and he can choose which one has the best one each play.
Yep, absolutely.
And then as far as the Rams go, I think it's very intriguing. I like seeing them do it. And I think it's even McVay is almost, from what I see, I think he's noticed his power. He's seen all his coaches get hired. He knows the team is given full power to do what he wants, and he already has a good record. So he knows even if something happens with the Rams where they end up stinking out no draft picks, he has an and someone else is going to give him a bag to come do the same thing with them.
Yeah,
he's kind of just going.
Him and Les Snead, I think, are just so on the same page. They're in sync, and I mean, again, as a football fan, it's kind of fun to see because not every team is going to do this. I don't mind this kind of aggressiveness to see how it works out. Either it's going to look good because that's a good receiving core when you look on paper. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Odell Beckham, and Matt Stafford can throw the rock, so that's fun. And then if it blows up in their face, that's fun too. So I like stuff like this, man.
Yeah, and McVay believes so much in his scheme. Almost, obviously, his offense to where Belichick is defense. I think what he's even doubling down on is because he still has 8 picks next year. They're all late. They're all after 4th round with compensatory picks they're getting in that. But he's basically saying, I know how to put players at their strengths in their best position. So give me the late guys that just have these traits, and I can work with it. So I think that's how he's kind of attacking this. Whereas, like, give me the stars, the known stars for these high picks, and we don't know how they're going to develop. And just give me enough traits that I can find spots for these guys. I think that's how they're building it there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's it. I think that was it we were talking about today.
Yeah, I appreciate you, North, man. Keep on rocking, brother. Enjoy your weekend.
All right, take it easy, buddy.
Too. All right, final question on the mailbag was 2 questions from Richard over on YouTube. Says, why aren't the Cowboys or the ownership and staff preparing the younger rookies, working them into more rotational roles, which could help sturdy the depth chart for the deep run and rest our injured players? Well, Richard, isn't that exactly what's happening? Osa has been playing. Osa, Golston, Bohanna. Jabril was starting to get a role, not like a major role, but he was a special teamer. Nashon's a special teamer. They're playing the rookies. Micah Parsons is defensive rookie of the year, so that's exactly what they're doing. And they're forced to rest their injured starters because they're hurt. So that's what they're doing. The second question, why not use more press coverage with aggression, leaving 2 backers wide? That don't make sense. Bringing down 1 safety or box corner. Now, that part to solidify the run execution. Richard, that's called the big nickel. That is number 27's job. Keep your eye on number 27 throughout the game. He's constantly in the box, constantly down, trying to defend the run. For the most part, it's worked. But that's they absolutely do that. Now, in regards to press coverage, they're hit and miss with that. I think they do a lot more man aggressiveness this year than they've done in the past and than they've ever done under, Dan Quinn's scheme. They've never really done that much. Most of it has been you play a side, cover three. And that's how they played it. All right, let's hop back into the chat here before we head out. Gregory just wrote a whole paragraph. I can't read all that, bro. You yelling and screaming with all these caps and stuff like that. Z Slot says, if only Zeke could run consistent. I mean, Zeke runs consistent. I think that Zeke's been good this year, right? Are we tripping about Zeke now? I mean, last week he got hurt. Your offensive line really couldn't, open up a ton of holes. And then when they could get in a groove, the Cowboys couldn't capitalize and keep the drives going. So I think Zeke is fine this year, y'all. Will says, beating the Falcons is going to take everyone on defense to step up on the team. Salute to my guy, Marcus. He says, salute to A to Z Sports. What's up, Sadiqa in the building? Dan Quinn knows the whole team, so hope that will work in our favor. Yeah, Josie, we talked about this yesterday. Dan Quinn, or 2 days ago, when I said this is a familiar, uncommon opponent, meaning obviously he coached a lot of these players, but this offense is not nearly the same type of offense. Where he does have the advantage is that he knows, in my opinion, he knows Matt Ryan probably better than anyone on obviously this staff or that staff. He knows Matt Ryan. So he knows what can get him, what bothers him, what coverages bother him, where players flash at can bother him, what fronts bother him, and things like that. Schematically, though, this is going to be very similar to the Vikings game. Heavy team, heavy run, heavy team in regards to heavy packages. All good, Marcus. All good, man. Run that thing back. You know how we do. Run that thing back. All right. Oh, my guy, Jay Tuck said he spoke to an NFL stretch therapist, and he says it's foot flexibility. It's foot flexibility, players pushing off improperly that can lead to these calf strains. That's what we need to do. All these damn injuries, and trust me, A to Z's working on getting a doctor type of relationship going on so we can bring them on. They do it over there in Nashville. I think it's pretty cool because I'm not a doctor, but I did stay at the Holiday Inn Express. But I'm not a doctor, so when the pre-med guy was talking about these calf, I can't, bro. I don't know. I'm not a calf. I don't know nothing about it. I don't know nothing about none of these injuries like that. But clearly, they're significant enough to sit these guys down. Significant enough. All right. Even though the bad news happened yesterday, technically it's still Feel Good Friday, man. It's still Feel Good Friday. And as we do here on A to Z Sports Dallas, the morning show. On the way out on a Friday, we talk about what are you feeling good about, or what has you feeling good going into the weekend. Let's do that here. Nobo says, Sky, you think Anai returns? Oh, for sure. 100%. He'll be here. Iceberg said, y'all be tripping way too much. Who tripping, Iceberg? Who tripping, man? Y'all be doing these generic things, and y'all got to understand when I'm reading this, I don't know if you talking about me, everybody. Who you talking about, man? Who you talking about? Feel Good Friday. Anybody feeling good? I know yesterday it was rough, right? You got the news. Cowboys come off that terrible victory. But at the end of the day, Feel Good Friday is not just about the boys. It's about personal, too. Anything personal going on in your life, friend's life, you feel good about. Jacob says, quick question. Oh, listen, when those tickets went on sale yesterday, brother, I almost snatched them right away. But Jacob says, Sky, quick question. Are you going to WrestleMania? My Feel Good Friday is getting my tickets hopefully today. I everything in my being plans on being at WrestleMania. There's no way in hell I'm not going to be there, and it's in my backyard. So by hook or crook, I'm fitting to be there, but I got to go look at these tickets, man. You know how they can be. And they had WrestleMania in Dallas 2016? 16? I want to say 2016. Man, and I saw pictures from the top. You don't want to watch no WrestleMania from the top, bro. Like, and a football game is cool. A wrestling ring really is not that big. It's really not that big. So sitting up there, you're looking like ants. You pretty much got to watch it on the big screen. But I do want to go just to be a part of the spectacle, man. Scotty said Chick-fil-A for lunch. That's his feel good. Frankie Franchise, my wife just had a successful doctor appointment this morning. 1 month left until my fifth and final. He said my final baby is here. Blessings. Absolute blessings, man. Glad to hear that. I know that is a stressful time. I can tell you, my first son was premature, and it's scary. Each doctor appointment can be a little bit nervous because you never know what they're going to find. But fortunately, you're having one because if something comes up, they can find it and take care of it. But that's definitely one of those situations where it's a scary moment until you're holding that baby, right? There you go. Doug Smith, a.k.a. the old head, says, getting staples out my back, feeling good. Hadn't seen your old head in the chat, but I appreciate you coming back through, letting us know everything is good with you, man. We definitely want you, D2 Stu, and anybody that's going through some serious surgeries to get through those as well as possible. SeatGeek has some good seats for cheap, says Jacob. I'm gonna write that down. SeatGeek, because what I ain't trying to do is spend a crazy amount of money just to be sitting up there and watching ants. Excited about our season and what the next 4 games will do, says Stephen White. I just opened up a uniform store. That's my Great Friday news. Nothing like running a business, right? Nothing like running a business. Okay, Iceberg, you said the fan base is tripping. I got you. North of the Star says, Sky, you're not a physical therapist, but you have worked out at Texas Family Fitness. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's right, man. A to Z Sports Live, presented by Texas Family Fitness. Your solution for your fitness goals. Got to let everybody know about our partnership with the wonderful Texas Family Fitness Company. TC on the drum says, feel good because in spite of watching all these broadcasts, I still have a job. Bro, I feel you. One of my jobs back in the day, I used to work for kind of a court system, essentially, yeah. And I used to have my earphones in, and eventually I ended up getting one of those earpieces. And I would sit there and listen to all the .com shows and thinking, man, they gonna fire my ass if I don't stop doing this. But I was just addicted to Cowboys news and Cowboys happening and just talking ball, and this is what I wanted to do. So I know, I feel you, man. You always feel like, man, they gonna catch me on this thing. We can start a ticket fund, says Frankie Franchise. Man, I wish. I ain't gonna do that to y'all. I don't want y'all paying for my ticket, man. Y'all do enough of great things in supporting this channel. And remember, the best and most easiest way to support this channel is clicking that like button, sharing this to all your friends, family, and foes, and becoming a part of A to Z Sports Dallas, the community here, by subscribing, man. By subscribing. So with that said, y'all, we're going to go ahead and head up out of here, man. Go head up out of here. It's Friday. It's Friday, so make sure y'all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Check back with your boy on Sunday morning. A to Z Sports Game Day Live. Cowboys versus the Falcons. Jesse Holly, Skywalker Still. We will be live. Hopefully, we don't see a lot of red taking over the stadium this time, man. I appreciate you guys. Y'all stay safe. We're going to send you up out of here on the Game Day Live so y'all can get a little hype.
Where else you want to go? Don't nobody do it like us, bro. Oh, my goodness. We beat the brakes off y'all. Whoop that trick.
Appreciate you. Make sure y'all be safe this weekend. Salute to Stevie Mac, the mod guy. Appreciate you, bro. Y'all stay safe.
Give me a hell yeah. I said give me a hell yeah.
I want me some glory hole.